Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Arizona Lotus has partnered with Diamond Children's and Banner University Medicine to share updates about news in medicine as it relates to Tucson. And I got an email. Hi, Frank. We have you scheduled to interview our falls prevention team today. This is not a team dedicated to all things pumpkin spice, but a team dedicated to preventing injuries from falls as they are the leading cause of death for those 65 and older. Each year, Banner University Medicine and the Banner Trauma Team host the Falls Prevention Fair, which is free to the public, and they share details on fall prevention, injuries, and resources to help keep our aging population healthy. It's a fun and engaging festival that will be held on September 27th. I can't wait for you to meet who we're going to talk to today. And let's meet them right now, because today I am fortunate enough to speak with Doctors Christina Colosimo as well as Dr. Tuab Saljuqi of Banner University Medicine. Christina, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Hi, nice to be here.
Get that microphone close.
Dang it.
Get that microphone close. It's so good to see you. And Tuab, also welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you, Frank. Nice to be here.
It's exciting to talk to you. And I was saying off air a little bit ago that here on Lifestyle Tucson, I love helping people in the community. It's great that we've got this partnership. And again, sometimes we are talking about the trauma team, helping people with burns, helping people with cancer, helping people with all these big things. How about falling down? It's a big topic because a lot of people think it's not as big a deal. But when you think of the cliche almost of an older person falls and breaks a hip, that hip break can really change or really damage someone's life permanently. And that's why talking about this and getting help for some of our older, more stubborn relatives that might need to learn that they want to keep themselves safe and sure-footed. So this is a great event, and I can't wait to talk to you all about it. But why don't you give us a little bit of a 101 on the Falls Prevention Fair? It's the 4th annual one. So what are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really blessed to be doing this again, and it's really important for our community because, as you said, a huge amount of the patients we see at Banner that I take care of every single day is patients who have fallen in Arizona. And I always like to say with our older population here, you come to Arizona to live. And we want to make sure that you kind of continue to live your fullest life in Arizona. So not only is it our 4th annual event, but we have about 25 vendors from the community that are coming and being part of this. We have a Tai Chi workshop. We have some wonderful speakers, including Dr. Saljuqi, Dr. Joseph, and Dr. Tanya Anand, who are just amazing and have really dedicated their life to falls prevention. And I'll let Dr. Saljuqi talk a little bit about his.
In fact, this is an amazing event for us as well, because as a health providers, we are reaching out to the community and we are sending the message directly face to face to them that this is a problem and we are seeing this every day in our trauma center. So why not to prevent it even before you are falling, how to give those messages that they don't fall and don't come to hospital. We don't want them to be in the hospital. So as a result, we will go to them and we'll talk to them and it will say, these are the key elements that you have to take care at home when you are walking outside. And as a result, these messages will improve their awareness and increases the possibility that they will not fall. They are at risk of fall. We know that older people, they are more at risk of fall than younger. And as a result, we focus on them.
I'll tell you this from my own personal experience. As we all seem to be aging, I've hit my 40s and I hit them hard. But I also hit the ground pretty recently because I was bending down to do the manliest activity someone could do, get a sticker off the ground. So there I was reaching down to get a sticker, and all of a sudden my knee starts to buckle. And I don't know why. And I've had this weird knee thing. And because my weight starts to shift, I throw my whole body the opposite direction to pretty much take a fall in the opposite direction because I was really about to pop something. I don't know what was wrong. Let me ask you this much, because I know the simple solution to this is preventative. It's stretching. How important is it to stretch and do some of these smaller, almost physical therapy style exercises as we get older so that we aren't weak in the knees, weak in the joints, weak in the hips, and that we can really stay sure-footed. We'll talk about some of the great programs you're going to offer with the Tai Chi and the balance program. That's kind of what piqued my interest there, is like, yeah, just a sense of balance is so important. Tell me some tips and tricks that you might be telling at this event when it comes to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm there with you. I constantly trip on my own feet. I'm really worried as I age as well, that I'm going to be one of these frequent flyers that's coming into the hospital. And really, prevention is, the best thing we can possibly do. And the CDC kind of outlines about 3 different areas, which we'll be talking about at the fair. But the first one is really exercise and stretching and maintaining your health in that way to start off with. So, things like Tai Chi, yoga are huge, going and walking. Every patient I have, I say, do more tomorrow than you did today. Do more the next day than you did the day before. And that's always a good piece of advice. So if you're injured, you have like you mentioned, your knee, and you can only maybe walk around the block once today, then tomorrow try walking twice around the block. Any little bit more we can do every day really is going to strengthen our body and increase our endurance.
That's good advice for almost anything, really, which is just do a little bit more every single day and you will. Again, if you can only do 8 push-ups, then the next day you can do 9. That's how it's going to build up. So that's true. Not that we're doing push-ups. We're focusing on stretching.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just basic things. And, a lot of our, patient population, they don't move a ton. And then when they get injured, then it's really hard for them to get out of bed. And that's why there's such a high mortality with hip fractures. Because if you're not super mobile before, however, in Tucson, again, we come to live in Tucson, we have, 80-year-olds that are biking down Mount Lemmon and that come in after that, and they jump right up. And so it really shows, people that have endurance, that have been exercising despite your age, if you have that kind of, mentality, then you tend to do better even if you fall.
Yeah. I got another quick tip for you. When you're going out hiking, taking those walks, make sure you got the right shoes on. Because I did that once, where you can go out there and if you're not wearing the right shoes on some of these rockier areas, you roll your ankle real quick. So Dr. Tuab, what are you going to really focus on when you're speaking at the event? Because you are one of the keynote speakers here.
Thank you so much. In fact, I will be the MC. I will coordinate the whole program.
Oh, awesome.
And I know the program back and forth. So it will start with a general discussion about why mobility is important. Dr. Mindy Finn will talk about that. She is a geriatrician, very well-known, director of Aging Center and Aging and National level. And she will just explain that why we have to be mobile and why you have to be safe. And that after that, we will have Dr. Parker. She will talk why we fall. And when we fall, then what we should do. Dr. Tanya Anand from our department then comes and says, okay, now you have fallen. What happens to you from the time that you are fallen and time that you come to a hospital? What stages are there? What we can provide for you, and what happens after? Then we will have two sessions, 2 demonstrations. One a Tai Chi demonstration. We will show them how to do activities, movements, and that will be Dr. Zhao Chen and her team from College of Public Health. They will talk and they will show that how we should do this balance and Tai Chi. Then we will have more talk about medication and falls. From our College of Medicine, Dr. Jeannie Lee will talk about that and show the medication that will cause the falls and how to prevent that. And then we will have another session on matter of balance. As you mentioned before, falling is all about balance. If you have a good balance, you will not fall. And it's not about aging even. If you are even 85 and older, but you are strong and you have a good strength, body strength, you will not fall. So we call it frailty. We will check, instead of aging, we will check the level of frailty. And Dr. Joseph will talk about that frailty means that how your body responds to stress. And if you are, even if age-wise very old, and you are not frail, you will not fall. So we will talk about that. Then someone from fire departments will talk about at-home safety, what they will have at home to take care to not to fall. And finally, Department of Health, Lee Carlson will talk about what resources the Pima County Health Department has and Jennifer Kane from PCOA will talk what resources they have for community. So we are not just providing information, we are providing a bunch of resources that people can take them home and then learn and get more awareness.
That's important. I mean, take those resources, take them home, and then grow and take this all with you. That is very, very important. The other thing when it comes to some of that list I noticed was medications that increase fall risk. Tell me about some of that.
Yeah, so, we do this a lot in the hospital as well. We get a geriatrics consult and they go over every single medication you're on because a lot of times maybe you're overdosing on certain things, underdosing certain things, or maybe you have an arrhythmia and you need to be put on proper medication. And so that geriatrician will look through all the medications and see, what can increase your fall risks and what can we kind of remove. So one of the big ones I get questioned a lot about is sedating medications. So as we get older, if you have any medications for anxiety that can also be sedating, sometimes we lower those doses. Or medications to help us sleep. Some people have a really hard time sleeping and they need those sleeping medications. But sometimes, again, as we get older, they need to be lessened. And so that's why one of the things Dr. Saljuqi mentioned was we talk about, what you should go to your primary care doctor and talk about, because at this falls prevention, we're not going to necessarily say, okay, you need to come off your sleeping medication or your anxiety medication, but we'll say these medications can be concerning. And so if you live in Arizona and you take this medication and you go outside and you're getting dizzy just walking around, this could possibly be the cause of the reason. And so please go see your primary care doctor and ask them to reassess your medications.
That's good advice. I've been really steered down the wrong path once with someone not warning me about the side effects of medication I've been on. And it was a very traumatic experience that when I then talked to the doctor, they were not that concerning. It was New York. So he was like, what, you don't know there's side effects? And he slapped me around a little bit. It's different out here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Right? But I love that you do say, you come here to live. And that's really important and a really good way to look at it. Because again, really staying mobile is living. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be stuck in your house, stuck in a bed, or stuck even with a broken leg. You don't want to twist or sprain your ankle. There's a lot of ways to make sure that you guys are taking care of things. And I've got the entire agenda here. You can go find it if you Bing it, because there's a big website. It's a bunch of nonsense. Just Bing. The Falls Prevention Fair for 2024, just a reminder, it's going to be September 27th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tucson Chinese Cultural Center right there at 1288 West River Road. There's so much that you're going to find out, so many things to see. And wait, this thing's very expensive, right? How much does it cost to come to this?
Free.
Oh, it's absolutely free. So I have no excuse as to why you can't get up because you're not bedridden, and we're going to make sure that you're not. So get up, get out there, and go learn all about this stuff because it doesn't cost a dime, and you could really be helping yourself or someone you know more than you'll ever know, and hopefully we'll never have to know. That's the whole idea.
There's also freebies, which my mom loves. So please scan the QR code and say that you're coming, because then we can adequately get the amount of refreshments and giveaways. But yes, everybody who comes can get freebies.
That's right. Free food, free beverages. They used to call it swag at Comic-Con. That stands for stuff we all get. Now they don't give things away for free anymore. They still call it swag. But at this thing, there's swag. There's stuff to get. Health screenings as well, resource booths, interactive demonstrations, and those great talks that we're going to be having together. That's really important. And again, education's the best way to make sure that nobody's fallen down in the future. Let's just keep touching base on some of the other stuff that the trauma team is working on and what your goals are. I'd say, since you know the whole thing back and forth because you're in charge of everything, why don't you give me some more advice on how to keep myself standing upright?
Yeah, of course. So the whole concept of falling, you should know that this is out of every 4 older adults, 1 will fall in every year. And this is like 36 million people, they are falling. And this is a big burden on the health system, on people, and on whole government. But as individuals, we have to take care of, first of all, a good movement. We discussed that we have exercises, regular basis exercises, take care of our medication, and most importantly, we have most of the falls happens at home. So have a clutter-free house. No wrecks, no things that will be on your way when you wake up at night. Keep your house well lighted, and that will help you not to fall. Also be careful, especially when we fall at bathroom. We have to be careful if you need to have assistive devices installed that you can take care of yourself when you sit and stand there. And also at night, if you are going to walk and take a cup of water, make sure that your house is well lit at night. And importantly, that you will, when you are walking, don't use flip-flops. Flip-flops at home is a common thing. Everyone loves their flip-flops. But that is also one of the causes of falling at home. So use very strong shoes that you can put your steps on the floor strongly, and that will prevent a lot of falling. Also, we have to make sure that on a regular basis, we talk to our physicians. That, as Dr. Colosimo mentioned, that is the key. If you see your doctor, they will tell you what to do. These are key tips that they can do that.
I never understood why slippers even existed. Who doesn't make any sense. You don't want to be slipping down. Terrible joke. But anyway, that is very important. It's even something I've noticed in my life. When summer hits, I have the air conditioner I have to install, and I tripped over that cord because that cord was not tucked away. Those wires, those cords, sometimes as we move a fan around the room, that when you then go to sleep with a fan on, you might trip over that. I actually do exactly. I didn't realize I kind of do it, but I do it. Before I go to bed, part of my routine is to declutter the path to the bathroom so that at night I don't have to think about it. I'll literally say, I don't want to think about this. Move those shoes, put them back away. Keeping a clean house. And some of our elderly folks, they can be a bit cluttered. That is some of what happens at grandma's house. So it is really important to make sure you have that clear path. And again, talk about preventative. A night light's $1. So get yourself some night lights in those hallways so that you're always set. And they're not going to waste all that energy. They'll only come on at night. That's important so that you're always going to be sure-footed and making sure that you're not taking a tumble late at night. Again, all preventative. That is really important to make sure that you're never in this situation. A lot of people like to always laugh at, those old commercials of I've fallen and I can't get up is almost a joke, right? And it's not. Like I've thought about the life alert or just even having it on your iPhones or your smartwatches, have these things that come with it so that you're not stuck. Even that, having maybe a smartwatch, if you don't have that life alert or a device like that, that smartwatch means that if you take a fall, your phone isn't out of reach. You can call for help. I recently heard a story, one of my favorite wrestlers, he was having some trouble and he had taken a tumble in his house and he was stuck there for 3.5 days. He was stuck on the ground for 3.5 days. And that 3.5 days rattled him more than the fall. Just imagine you're stuck on the ground for 3.5 days. That is terrifying. And he was only found by family members that hadn't heard from him in a while. But if you live alone, what can that mean? How long is it before someone checks in on you? Maybe that smartwatch, maybe making sure you have that life alert or some device like that, because I don't know, that's an old commercial. Like there might be more modern technology for that. And maybe if there is. What is something that would be advice for some of our singles that live alone, and what can they do to make sure besides that one device I'm remembering from a commercial?
No, there are absolutely many different advices right now. So you could, go on the internet and just do a search and you can see what's appropriate for you. But we have people every single day that come into our facility that were what we call found down, meaning family members or neighbor goes and does a check and they're found down on the ground. So it happens a lot. And unfortunately, like I said, in Arizona, we have a big problem with our heat. And so people go out, they get dehydrated, then they're, a little bit unsteady on their feet and they trip and they fall and then they get a bad fracture that prevents them from getting up. We've had patients definitely say, I was down on the ground for hours and I didn't think anybody was going to come and get me. So I crawled to, knock down the phone or, get someone's notice. So, back to that prevention, one of the good things you can do is have a friend or a family member or a neighbor that you check in with every single day so that if they don't hear from you, they know that something might be wrong to alert someone to go to your house and check in on you, if not check in on you themselves. The life alert, like you said, is a joke, but it's not really a joke. Those things are kind of amazing. So, I, keep thinking about getting one for my mom because she keeps losing her phone constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And so giving her something, a smartwatch or something she can have on her where she can make the call if she falls would be so important so that you're not down for prolonged periods of time. And then back to that, being able to crawl somewhere if you have a phone on the ground. I know it's kind of silly, but, most of the time people are able to crawl, but then they can't reach up to get a phone. So if you have a phone on the ground, that would be ideal in being able to make the call. And then much like Dr. Saljuqi said, just making sure your house is safe so that we can prevent these falls.
Yeah. Again, a lot of really good advice. That's what this is all about. I feel safer myself. I'm not even lying to you. Like early on, starting and saying to some other folks that I was like, oh, I can't wait to have this conversation with you today because this is important. Again, sometimes, yes, we're talking about cancer. We're talking about heart health. We're talking about disease and helping people with the other folks I interview. But I'm like, no, this topic is important. Again, just to reiterate, I feel like I read it. Is it like one of the number one causes? Is it the number one cause is falls?
So it's one of the number one deaths in our, greater than 65-year-old population.
Think of that. That's a real big deal. When it's not number 100, number one. That's important. When I have a doctor here who is telling me this happens every day. This happens every single day. And that is something that we can put a stop to just through safety, prevent lighting, being a little more physically active, just all this good advice. It's hard to take good advice. It is tough sometimes, but this is not asking you to run a marathon to stay healthy. This is asking you to do the simplest little things to make sure no one wants to picture Nana crawling on the ground, right?
No, it's terrible.
Right. Okay. And that's exactly it. It's exactly that. You don't want to picture that just for the peace of mind for someone's daughter, for you. For her to have that would give you that peace of mind, not just them, but you knowing my mom's always safe. She'll always be able to get in contact with me because I got her that smartwatch or I got her that phone on the ground, even though she rolled her eyes, right? And I'll give you another little tip. That smartphone now, if you get that you can get a Minnie Mouse watch on it. All the older folks love it because Minnie Mouse is on it now. So get her that smartwatch, say Minnie Mouse is on it, and she'll talk to you, and she might be a little more pro on the smartwatch. So now this event is just part of a series of events. So tell me a bit more about it.
Yes, so in fact, September is a month of falls prevention awareness across the United States. And this month, the Southern chapter of Arizona Falls Prevention Coalition, in collaboration with University of Arizona in Banner, we are doing this as a part of a series of events. Our event is one of 20 events happening during the month of September. And for example, Pima County has their own event. The PCOA, which is a local NGO, they have their own event. TMS, they have their own event. And we will also, in our website, you can find the whole schedule of all these events that you can go, and similar to our event, you can find all resources, people talking about different aspects of falls and how to prevent falls. And more importantly, that you will get connected that along the year, there are so many other programs that you can subscribe to. For example, Tai Chi is not just one session. It is an 8-week session. So when you come, you can register and you can get into the program to do for a long term. So Fall Prevention Awareness Month is September, and we are doing this part of that big event.
All month long. Go get all of that online. I'll give you some of those details in the recap. Thanks so much for coming in today, because this is a really important thing. You're doing really important work. Again, doctors, that's just all I'm talking to here on Lifestyle Tucson. It's like having local celebrities to me, because today we made friends with Dr. Christina Colosimo and Dr. Tuab Saljuqi of Banner University Medicine as Alfred asked Batman, why do we fall? So we can get back up again. That's right. I thought of that like 20 minutes ago when you were talking. But thank you for joining me so much today.
Thank you so much.
This was Lifestyle Tucson.
Bing, bong, bing. Time for a recap. I really did enjoy this conversation. I was looking forward to it because, again, falling down, what a fear that I actually have. My fears are the slightest noise and falling down. When I was young, I got pushed down once and I broke my arm. And another time, I got shoved down and I popped my shoulder out. Like, a fall from just the standing position can change your whole life. This being the number one cause of death for adults 65 and older, like, that's pretty much sums it up. So get all the details you can. The event takes place Friday, September 27th from 11 to 3 p.m. at the Tucson Chinese Cultural Center at 1288 West River Road. You can Bing it, as I always say, or Google it if you want to. It is the 4th annual Fall Prevention Fair. So go look that up, get all the details, set an alert, set an alarm, put it in your calendar so that you can make sure that A, you're safe, and B, the older folks in your life are safe and that you care about them and you care enough to make them go to this free event, or at least tell them about it so they can make their way to it. Stand against couches, get up, get out there, and go feel better and pick up a lot of information at this fun free event. So I want to thank our new friends at Diamond Children's and Banner University Medicine for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. For more information about our program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are sure-footed. I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. Toot toot Tucson. I love you the most.